Hey everyone, my name is Mike Vaughn,
Dom Fisher.
and wow, let me take that again. This is the new release roundup, and we are talking Clerks 3. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this. I'm going to throw it out to you though. What was your kind of initial impressions of the movie?
I think initially when I first heard that he was even doing it, I was like, finally, like I've been waiting on this because there's something that's like comforting about any kind of Kevin Smith film because he is that kind of true, like cinema geek. You know, what I mean, he really loves, and people can think it's goofy or whatever, but it's creative and it's original.
Mhm.
But like initially, like I watched it. I watched it twice, and it's a lot more somber than I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
Um, like I know back in like 2013, he initially said that Clerks 3 would be his last time film or last, I think, time directing maybe. So I was like, there was this tone of like, yo, is this it? Like, is this gonna be like the last thing we see? But from the beginning, I mean, with like um the opening scene where you have this 5 minute scene of kind of like what they've been up to as far as like they're on the roof playing hockey, and they know that they're like, we're the only store you guys go to. You can wait because we're busy. Um, but I mean, no, it's funny. Elias, I didn't like him before. He kind of annoyed me. This time, he's my favorite character.
Yeah.
I love the switch. I love the costume changes. Um, the jokes are still as witty as ever. Kevin Smith has a good. It was very good at the long form descriptions when he's with anything. When if Randal is talking about a pair of shoes, he's going to give you this super long description that's not needed necessarily, but the fact that it's so descriptive makes it that much more funny. But no, I mean, I almost cried, which I didn't expect. I laughed the entire time. I loved all the callbacks to all his previous films, including like a callback to Zach and Miri that I didn't expect
Yeah.
because it wasn't necessarily really part of the VSQ universe. But and then just him, uh, everything that he was able to do that felt fresh. Even the callbacks didn't feel forced like some other films do. But I mean, I really can't find any complaints. I mean, I'm sure there's someone that's gonna have something to negative to say, but it just kind of seemed like the if this is the last film that he does, at least directing, or if this is the last of the universe, it's kind of the perfect send off.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with a lot of that. I really liked it. I definitely did not expect, as you say, for it to have such a sort of like it's not bleak, but somber. That
Yeah.
I feel like that sums it up really well. So, Clerks is like a pretty big film for me. Like it's very was very formative in maybe like among the first kind of indie films that I really started to dig into. Like, this was like the early to mid 90s. So you had like this, you had Quentin Tarantino coming on the scene, you had all these people, and like I was devouring all of it. I actually got this last year. Actually, you can't see that.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Super nice guy, Brian. But yeah, no, it's really good. I think it was like really funny, but then it does kind of have that emotional weight that I liked. And yeah, I was kind of blown away. Like as soon as I got done watching the movie the first time, I like quick jotted down kind of everything that I was thinking and feeling. I think that like I liked it. The only thing that was kind of weird for me, and I think if I had to like absolutely had to give some like negatives, it felt like the storyline was a little bit rushed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say
Um,
that's good.
like it seemed like they there's something missing. There's sort of like a weird jump between like the second act and third act where they're like scrambling to kind of wrap this up and
Yeah.
um but I mean, did I laugh? Hell yeah. Did I bawl my eyes out because I love this series? Yeah, I no shame in my game. Like, because the thing is, tell me if you agree. I think you can kind of tell that Kevin Smith puts a lot more of his heart and energy into the Clerks films.
For sure. For sure.
And it's not that I don't think he puts that effort into his other films, but you can tell there's something special about these movies. Like there's something almost beautiful and poignant about how the first Clerks had his mom in it. The second Clerk has like his mom, and I guess did his daughter and wife.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the third one, like they all kind of make cameos in some regard. So I mean, it's like it's literally like, I don't want to say like his life, but like he puts a lot of his close gosh, I don't even know how to
No, I mean, I think that what you're hitting on is like one of the things that the second time I watched it, I was like, as Randal is looking at like the pictures on the wall in the third act, I was like, it is kind of crazy that like, the movie is very meta, and he when I was looking at those pictures, I was like, these people can look back at these movies, and it's literally like big chapters of their life, from their like 20s to 30s to 40s, 50s. I'm not sure how old everybody is, but it's just kind of weird that it's not only like Kevin's like timeline, but it's their timeline. And he took, like he said, like some people who weren't actors, they're just some people that he knew, people around town, and he kind of made them stars. And it's weird to see that because there is that personal touch. You can tell, like you said, especially in the credits when he's talking, you're like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of like he it's like a letter, basically. It's a letter to not only like the fans, but to like himself, to remember like why he made this, because it was like, no, I can make a story about myself, and it doesn't have to be this crazy big budget blockbuster type thing. It can be like a story about people, and those are usually the ones that end up being the most interesting.
yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that the acting is like amazing. Like Brian O'Halloran is awesome. Jeff Anderson, I mean, they give like powerhouse performances. Like I think that they might give like maybe the best performances in any Kevin Smith movie. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, when that scene when he's like breaking down, I was like, all right, hold it together. Because that it hit me different. Like you, I've loved this franchise, and it almost seems like it is like watching, like you're not watching actors, you're watching these guys be themselves, almost what it feels like. So when there's like any kind of riff, you like, no, you gotta hug it out, man. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, no, it feels like it sounds like a weird analogy, but it feels like your parents. You don't want to see them fight. You don't want
Yeah.
to see them split up. Yeah, gosh, I think this was so good. I even kind of think that it ranks among my favorite of Kevin Smith's output. And I'm like somebody very controversial where I like Tusks. I think
Yeah,
that
me too.
okay, awesome. Supposedly part two's coming out sometime.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I think this is, I mean, again, it's not perfect. Um it it kind of, for me, like there was some, I mean, there's like Clerks 1 and Clerks 2 both had, I think it kind of captured the time and place so perfectly.
yeah, yeah.
Um I felt a little like there's things that they could have like hit on that they really didn't. Like I know like they references where they did some great references to the Mandalorian, which I thought was awesome. And I'm trying to think if there was anything like else like super specific, but I don't know. I felt like there was like things with like streaming and all that
Yeah.
other stuff that they kind of could have, I don't know, like made it feel like 2022. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he kind of stuck to things that I guess he knows, and then I guess like because we're all confused by crypto and NFTs, and he was like, let me put that in there because
Yeah.
we're
No,
all kind
that
of like,
yeah.
it's fake. I don't know. Is it real? Maybe. And I think
um,
the guy who plays blockchain, I believe that's his daughter's boyfriend,
hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. Which is cool that I think he was already a somewhat established actor, but it's just cool that he's like, no, this is like a family affair. I'm gonna
Yeah.
add you, and even if he, I mean, I assume that he likes him, but even if he didn't, I assume he was still, yeah, it's my daughter's boyfriend. Like, come on, man,
Yeah, just throw him a
like
bone,
we
give
won't
him
give
a
you any
part.
lines though until when I want to.
Um, and yeah, I love that they got so many people back from the original film that just did these like little cameos. Like the smoking girl from the first one. Like the gosh, I can't remember his name, but like the jock guy in the first film. Just yeah, that was pretty awesome. I did really like how it was this big awesome union, and then I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how the somber sort of bittersweet ending
Yeah,
resonates with people. I liked it. I thought it was an interesting way to go. Like it was one of those movies where I was like, holy crap, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's like we were saying, like I think we both weren't kind of expecting that.
yeah,
But you know, it also has like the fart and dick jokes and all that kind of stuff to balance out the universe. So um yeah, I really liked it. Like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it just kind of gave me everything that I wanted in a Clerks movie.
yeah, and I feel like the tone wise, I feel like that was kind of Kevin reminding people that like, oh, I can do drama, I can do heartfelt if I want to, but I
Yeah.
like to make lighthearted, fun things. But like, all right, if you guys want to see this range, here you go. Um, I wonder. I mean, I meant to look back at their filmography, but does he ever? Or does the cast? Do they ever do any other work besides working with Kevin? Do you know?
um who are you talking about?
I guess Dante and Randall.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know if they ever do too much else.
I know Brian makes kind of a smallish cameo in Mallrats. As for um as for Jeffrey, that's a good question. I'm gonna look that up.
I did find something real funny was when they're in the hospital and he starts playing because I was a big Degrassi fan.
mm,
So as he starts playing the theme music to Degrassi and it plays just a little bit too long and a little bit too loud, and I feel like it was on purpose. Like I thought that was hilarious. And I forgot they've been on some Degrassi specials before, him and Jason Mewes.
yeah, and I looked it up. So actually, Jeff Anderson's been in a lot of his films. Like,
Right.
it's so I can't believe I missed this. He was Deacon in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, which, like, I think is a really good movie.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that like kind of never caught on.
Because one of my favorite jokes in that movie is when they're in the coffee shop talking, and what do he say? That the older guy is like, "Can I get a coffee, black?" And he's like, "Can you say we talking white?" I thought that was genius writing. Like it's so simple but so funny. Yeah, I don't know why the movie got so much hate, and I guess because people just I don't know, man. It's disappointing that people allow themselves because of certain words or subject matter allow themselves to miss out on something really hilarious because that was a movie that I'd watch at least once a year
Yeah.
until I loaned it out to somebody and never got it back. So I'm gonna have to rebuy that.
Yeah, I kind of wonder also if Zach and Mary, we were all maybe a little bit burnt out on like the like Judd Apatow kind of comedies
Maybe.
at that point. Like I know it was kind of his attempt to do like a Judd Apatow thing. And I mean, maybe he just wasn't at the right time for that. Um, I don't know, but I hope that finds a cult following. Like I really hope that like Tusks finds a pretty big cult following, which it kind of seems like it does.
Yeah, what was the little spinoff? Like Yoga Hosers?
Yoga Hosers, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't really like that one.
Yeah, and I think that like he's always I mean the same thing with the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He's a very fortunate in that filmmaker and that we love him so much. Like there's not I don't think there's a lot of filmmakers who I think get love because of oh they won so many awards and the name just people will fake like it. You can't fake like Kevin Smith films. You
Yeah.
either love them or you don't like them at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good to have that because I don't think you want a lot of people who are just kind of yeah, I mean Scorsese, you can it was good because you're Scorsese and I don't want to tell everybody I didn't like it because it's a Scorsese movie. But like Kevin Smith, man, if you love this, oh, so we're on the same team. I got you.
Yeah, I mean he definitely is very polarizing. Like I think like Quentin Tarantino is much the same way where you either like his style and you're on board with everything that kind of makes a Tarantino film or you don't. And it's like the same thing with Kevin Smith. He just and also like he just seems like a cool guy. Like I feel like you know, he would be more approachable than like say what you said by like Scorsese, right? Like I feel like I could like hang out with Kevin Smith. I don't
Yeah.
know if I would feel like I could approach, Martin Scorsese or something. So I think that's kind of his appeal too. I think he
Yeah.
just doesn't come across as this like you know, big, huge, prestigious sort of like whatever I say goes and what I say
Yeah.
is cinema or not. Like
Yeah.
Martin
I feel
Scorsese.
like um Kevin Smith films are like the reason why I really enjoy some of these short films that I've seen at festivals and stuff where like it's kind of one of those things if you grew up watching him and you wanted to make film, you're like, oh, I can just get my buddies together and have this cool, funny, whimsical script and just kind of play with it and then kind of see what works and what doesn't work. And then, because all his stories, this one included, are a lot more complex than people give him credit for. There's a lot of moving pieces. The
Yeah.
writing is always really done well. And I mean, and I like that he's able to, as Silent Bob, kind of impart like what you may have missed and what he's trying to do when he describes like why Clerks wasn't black and white and why, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, and he's like, yeah, that's what I think. That's what an artist thinks. You're like, you might, it's one of those ones that makes you like, I should look at some things a little deeper than what's on the surface because him describing the why it's black and white because of capitalism and being viewed through like an invisible surveillance camera. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it makes it even like looking back at Clerks like it makes it that much more better than what I already love. Just like, oh man, all right, let me go back and watch it again and see if I
Yeah.
can kind of digest it even that much more.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to, but I like highly recommend his commentary track on Clerks. It's
Okay.
so great. It's so funny because like so again, I discovered this like middle school. I'm like a total film nerd. And like this was kind of like the first movie that I like really like dug super deep in, like the deleted scenes, the commentary track, the making of, like all that stuff. And this was kind of like before they had reissued everything in like a big box set. This was like I actually got a bootleg double VHS that had the movie, and it had the movie with the commentary track, and then at the end it had like deleted scenes. It had the really famous deleted scene of Dante getting shot at the end, which they
Right.
reference, which is
Right.
awesome. And some really cool stuff. So it was like all these, I don't know, like as a young film fan, it was so cool to like, that might have even been my first commentary track now that I'm thinking about it, because I think that maybe the commentary track was like ripped off the laser disc. Again, I think this was like before like they put out that deluxe 10th anniversary thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like awesome because it was like, actually getting to like hear your favorite director talk about, actually kind of watch the movie with you was
Yeah.
kind of mind blowing to me as a young film fan. So yeah, this movie is like the original movie will always hold a special place in my heart. And I thought part two was actually like pretty awesome as well. Like, it was funny because I rewatched that pretty recently and it holds up really well.
Yeah.
And I think this whole trilogy does. Like that's when I say I think he puts extra like care and attention into attention to these movies. Like you know that they're special to him too. Like
Yeah.
um this probably isn't going to be his last film, but if it was, it would be kind of fitting to like bookend his career,
Right.
sort of where he started. But I don't want that to be the case. I want more Kevin Smith movies. Give them to me. That's kind of my final thoughts, but I wanted to like kick it over to you, and if you had anything else to add.
No, I think this is. I hope that this gets as many viewers as possible. I know it's probably it's doing what the select theaters, and then I don't know if it's going digital or whatnot, but it's definitely one that I think that his diehard fans, and even if you just like want to kind of start here, I think this is
Yeah.
also a good starting point. I think because the way it was made, and it does reference to things back that you can go, oh, I really like this. Now I want to go back and realize and wonder why he started calling him Mr. Dante. I wonder why these jokes are what they are. See the beginning of like the 37 joke, and I think there's he crafted a film that is it's really gonna I think it's gonna stand out, and I don't know, I really want to know what his favorite film is, like because like you said, like the Clerks series is, it does feel special, so I want to know if that's what he like, if that's his same feeling, or and which one's like his favorite, because it's hard to pick, but I will say that he's definitely a special person because the fact that he's able to get all these big name stars to come back for all his
Yeah.
films and just make little small cameos, and you realize like they're in there for a reason. Like he's clearly a good guy. They love the work as well. So you have like your Rosario Dawson's, big time actors, your Ben Affleck's, your Freddie Prinze Jr. These people that people hold up so high, if they're willing to love that work like we loved it, then it's like there's something there. Even if you think that it's not, there's clearly something there that they see, that we see, that people are missing out on.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess probably I'll wrap up with like just to sort of reiterate that it's awesome. It's a great movie. It's really funny. I do think that it does have a few issues, but it's like it was never so much that it detracted the overall kind of experience for me. It'll be really interesting to see like any like outside of like the hardcore fan base of his, like taking this as like a singular piece and not part of the trilogy, like if it will still kind of have that sort of impact. Because again, I think, you know, you're very similar to me, where like I kind of feel like I grew up with these characters.
Yeah.
So when you see, like, I'll keep it spoiler free, but like when you see stuff happen to them, it sucks. And, you know, like, man, that was like a gut punch the first time I watched it. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I'm kind of like, man, Kevin Smith needs to do some like straight dramas.
Yeah.
I mean, it can have some humor too, but man, like it's like you said, you know, he is like, hey, I've come to play. Like I can actually do this. And yeah, he proves it. So I think it's awesome. I think it comes out. I thought it was this Friday, but that's not. I don't think that's right.
I think it might be the 13th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. It comes out Tuesday the 13th. So not unlucky. So that's, you know, not Friday the 13th. So that's good. And gosh, I can't recommend it enough. And I think y'all should check it out. So
Sure.
I think that kind of wraps up our review, but as always, definitely consider giving this video a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Peace.